So you might be able to fill in the blanks, but
well, as I say, I can't. Like you, I only saw the highlights, so I'd have to ask one of the other guys really to be able to say.
This is one of the things. This is the things, and I kind of feel like quite embarrassed about saying, I only managed to just watch the highlights, really. But it goes back to, I think, a comment that I made must be a couple of months ago now, which is, without fans in the stadium, you're following what's going on, but you kind of feel challenged about, well, do I, actually plan around my afternoon around sitting in front of the TV for a couple of hours, when actually I can go out and have real times with real people after being sat inside for 4 months? And the answer is, well, that's what wins. So I look very, very much forward to actually getting back in the stadium and seeing people again, because that for me is not 80% of the football experience, if I'm honest.
Okay, cool. No problem. We shall come on to that.
Good.
No doubt in a little while. Okay, so G, I don't know if you managed to watch the game, but just who were your standout performers from what you saw?
I was really pleased with the way Dele played. It was good to see him with a bit more confidence again. He was trying his little tricks and trying to take people on, which was good, which we haven't really seen much of for a little while. Højbjerg again was pretty solid. Lovely through ball as well to set up Kane, which was a really nice pass. And Kane goal was lovely. Hit the post a few times as well. So we had chances. Again, like many of you have said already, I think Wolves weren't really, it's like they're already kind of on holiday. I think they're comfortable. They're not going to go down. They're not fighting for much. So they were quite happy just to go along with the game and not really cause us any problems. But we've done our job. We played decent football, better than we've played for a while. So, yeah, I think overall it was a decent performance.
Good. So just
good to see him in the team again. I've been saying for a while, I think he should have been coming in anyway. And
sorry, I just going to on that Højbjerg thing. I mean, there was, I don't know if it was on the Match of the Day summary, but they were talking about Højbjerg and him being kind of released a little bit, to not necessarily, like, there's like a lot of talk with from Mason about the players buying into a playing style and everyone buying into it, and you kind of think that you have to wonder that if he's been given that opportunity to push on and not be so disciplined in terms of sitting in front of the defence, if he sees an opportunity to get forward and to express himself a little bit more, which was, if you remember when we first signed him and we were talking about, Højbjerg, CDM that we needed, and Southampton fans were mocking us and going, well, he's not a CDM. This guy's not a CDM. Well, if you think you bought him for a CDM, then you're going to be mistaken. He's not a CDM. But now, under Mason, under this style of play, it looks like he's got an opportunity to go and play and affect the areas of the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like from parts, he does have it in his locker by the look of it. He's not just someone that gets stuck in and can tidy up the mess. He looks like he does want to be a bit creative as well and try and get more involved in the attacking side of the game from what we see yesterday. But, I mean, whether that is the case or not, it's hard to say from just a couple of games, but playing that way. But we'll have to see. I mean, maybe he can adopt into that, a bit of both, cleaning up where he needs to and also trying to get forward a little bit as well.
I was just going to say as well, just on Højbjerg, that his decision-making appears to be a little bit bizarre at times. I don't know if you recall from the game yesterday, but I think we had a corner. The ball came out to Højbjerg. He must have been about 20 yards away from the goal. And he just went back and kicked the ball back to the halfway line. Yeah. And there were several occasions yesterday where, he would instantly pass the ball backwards rather than just pausing, putting his foot on the ball, looking forwards. His natural inclinations appear to be that, right, his default position is, as soon as he gets the ball, let's go backwards. So maybe that's something in his game that the next manager can get out of him. Whereas, rather than instinctively go backwards, to actually turn face forwards and see what options are in front of him. So, but yesterday, as I said, there were just a couple of decisions that he'd made. You just think, well, why have you done that? You know, he had time on the ball.
He has done that in time for other games in the season as well. But that might just be Mourinho effect. That maybe the way we were playing under Mourinho was just still caught.
That's what
I wonder. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. I wonder if that's been ingrained in him so much that he's been in his position or in his role. He's been taught to be as risk averse as possible.
I think that's what it is.
Ball retention over everything else, rather than risk against rewards. The higher the risk, obviously, the higher the reward. So just go back. We'll start again. We'll get our shape and see what evolves. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So goals were taken well. Overall, Andy, what would be your assessment in terms of match day management? The subs. There were a few people that were kind of confused about the substitutions that were made, I think, or were complaining about that on Twitter that I saw. So what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there were a couple of tweets. There was one very disparaging tweet about someone's own wife that I saw when the Salso went off. But that was rather weird, wasn't it? But
yes.
I thought the Lo Celso substitution was about 65 minutes, and I thought he was actually having an okay game. So I don't know whether he's got fitness issues or whether they just thought they needed to change it up. So they brought Winks on, and I thought Winksy did okay. Just what you kind of get with Winksy. And I can't remember the other subs. I know we brought Sissoko
and Ndombele, I think it was.
Yeah, and Ndombele came on, didn't he? And he was all right, actually, when he came on. Because he came on... Did he come on for Delhi, or was it for... it was for Bale, I think, wasn't it?
I think it was for Bale.
Yeah.
And Ndombele came on for Delhi, and Sissoko came on for Bale. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, so... But the thing was, Wolves were pretty ineffective, so... As a result, I don't think it really mattered. I couldn't really work out whether any of those substitutions were successful or bad, really.
Okay. I mean, so there were two final points. Very quickly. One. So, firstly, I think, or any of you that actually watched the game can comment on this, because neither Simon and myself really are qualified. But the last question I can ask Simon, so I will do. But so Connor Cody was awarded and this has caused a massive uproar. Connor Cody was awarded the man of the match in a game that actually he might have done a couple of clearances well, but he also was made to look a bit of an oaf on a couple of occasions as well, and ended up being on the losing side. And Gary Neville has for once gone against the grain and about going with the goal scorer, and not saying that the man of the match should always come from the team that's winning, but certainly if you're in a team that's lost and your team haven't, he's a defender and they haven't kept a clean sheet, how does Neville justify that decision, and were you confused by it?
I was confused by it, but I don't know what his thinking behind it was, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't know if he's just trying to mock us like everyone is at the moment, or what. I don't know. Probably should have gone to Højbjerg for his assist and the goal, but I mean, there was nobody overly outstanding on the day. But yeah, I don't get it, to be honest. So I don't know. I really don't know what his thinking was.
I mean, Cody had a couple of goal line clearances, didn't he? But
one was lucky. He was just standing. It was in.
Yeah, he was just there, wasn't he? Yeah.
It was like he
and most of the other clearances were badly taken corners that didn't beat the first man because he was the first man. So yeah, he's a good defender, but yeah.
I mean, for me, he didn't particularly stand out.
No, not really.
He was at fault for the first goal, Kane's goal.
Yeah, I thought he was.
He looked sluggish on that. He almost reminded me a bit like Richard Dunn.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It was just like the Gary Neville wankfest yesterday, wasn't it? It was just like, Cody this, Cody that. Who should we give the man of the match to? And then he,
well, in fact, they
all of that off and said, contact me on Twitter to tell me who you think man of the match should be. It's like, Gary, you've been sitting there for the last 90 fucking minutes. You decide who the man of the match is. You absolute fucking cop out. But
I mean, for the first goal, he was banging on about bloody Cody, and obviously the whole kind of editorial team were putting together clips for Cody, and then they snapped back to the game live, and Kane's just kicking the ball in the net, so we didn't even see the build up to the goal at all, because Gary Neville, it was obviously like Sky said, Gary's got a really good idea. He's talking about Connor Cody. It's like, there's a football match on. Can we watch that, please? Because that's far more enjoyable. But
the goal sort of came out of nowhere, didn't it? It's just
it was.
It was half a second, and the ball was in the back of the net, and you're thinking, well, what the fuck's happened there? How?
Good old Sky.
I think Sky saw Cody make an absolute cock up on that, and then quick put his video up of how well it's done, and let's hope Kane doesn't score. But
must have had a bet on him being man of the match or something.
Yeah, exactly. But it is all getting to the point with this, isn't it? With Sky commentary and the bias, and I mean, I couldn't possibly say anything positive about an Arsenal game if I was a co-commentator, no matter how much money you paid me. And it's just so blatantly obvious and apparent that there is so much bias in football, and
but you can't complain about that. You can't complain about that if you're just saying you're saying there's so much bias in football. But if I was a co-commentator, I couldn't possibly say anything positive about Arsenal. Because you're just proving that same fact, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're showing that you'd be biased as well.
Well, I'm not a commentator, so that's why I've just said that. So, and I wouldn't be, but obviously, the media are constantly selling Kane and blah blah this, blah blah blah, and then Solskjaer coming out and saying, this is outrageous. We've got 4 games to play in 8 days. This has been it's totally unheard of. But hold on a minute. A few months ago in the season, we had 4 games in 8 days, and on the back of that, we spanked Man United 6-1. So it's all of this false reporting and the fake narrative where
somebody
makes a comment and it's like, well, it must be true, but nobody's actually coming out and saying, well, okay, Ole, you've said you're playing 4 games in 8 days and it's unprecedented. Well, let's go back a few months. Spurs actually did that as well. So people have really, really short memories, and then you get all these bellends like your mates, your Chelsea, your West Ham supporters that grasp onto this information and they take it as gospel. And I'm just sick of everyone at the moment, and I want lockdown to continue. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm fed up of seeing people. At least when you had lockdown and you went outside, because you couldn't go near anyone, you just say a little quick hello to someone while you scooted off, and now you've got all this fucking small talk.
I must admit, Jamie,
how's your family? How's your mum?
I know. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
It's just a load of bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah. Jay, one thing you're obviously not sick of is your own voice. That's one thing that's clearly you're not sick of. You've just been listening to yourself for quite a while, so you must like your own voice. But anyway, just very quickly. As I said, I couldn't ask Simon about the Connor Cody man of the match thing. But what I did want to ask is, there's a lot of on Twitter. There was a lot of complaints about Mason, certainly because we didn't win against Leeds and stuff, that he's playing his mates. Fucking Mason's playing his mates. Why is he always playing his mates? And every time they speak to Ryan Mason or his best mate harry-kane, they always at great pains to point out that actually harry-kane and Ryan Mason are best mates. So do those people that are complaining about Mason playing his mates not want Mason to play Kane? That's my question to you, because he obviously, does he not fall into that category of him playing his mates?
Well, yeah, I guess by definition he would, but it's out of the however many 100,000 people that are on Twitter, are you going to pick a team that is going to satisfy everybody? The answer is no. It's virtually impossible. So if he picked somebody over somebody else, there's no way you're going to open Twitter one day and just see a continuous stream of going, great team. Looking forward to this. Oh my God, that's a brilliant team.
Yeah.
I couldn't have picked it better myself, Ryan. Congratulations.
Yeah.
This is before the team's even announced. This was like from, let's say, this was from Friday or whatever, where